You already know what it is. GMOG Media TV, GMOG Sports TV, Great Man of God Media TV, back with another one. All right, family. So there has been reports going around, and I've heard about this after the Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford fight about Errol Spence coming in with an injury, specifically a rib injury. I've heard people say that Errol Spence had a rib injury in training camp and he couldn't spar for 6 weeks, right? And now content creators, and I emphasize content creator because I have not seen an actual verifiable source outside of content creators, meaning platforms who cover boxing 24/7, such as a boxing scene, such as a fight hype, etc., actually report this particular injury. But a source, quote unquote, source is telling content creators or specific content creators that Errol Spence suffered a rib injury during training camp, basically validating that he was injured prior to the Terrence Crawford fight in July. Now, here's the thing, right? Rib injuries are very severe and very serious. I don't know the extent of his rib injury, whether it's a fractured rib, whether it's just a bruised rib, whatever the case may be. But rib injuries are serious. I've had a rib injury before years ago, and the mobility of what you can and can't do is very severe. It's very painful. I've suffered a rib injury during a car accident, so I know firsthand, based off firsthand experience, you have really limited mobility. And when I had a rib injury, I couldn't do nothing. I didn't want to do nothing. Couldn't work out. Couldn't really go anywhere. I had to stay stationary until it was healed. And I say that to say this. I say that because of the fact that if Errol Spence had a severe rib injury where he cannot spar for 6 weeks, why was he cleared to fight? That's why I call cap. Now I'm not saying that Errol Spence came into the fight not 100% because pretty much everyone who is in the fight game, they're not 100%, right? They're not 100% based off the severity of their injuries, but nobody comes into camp or nobody comes to a fight 100%. So I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is the fact that based off the severity of this particular rib injury, he shouldn't have been medically cleared to fight. If it was that obvious, where he was not sparring for 6 weeks, why was he cleared to fight in the first place, right? So just for the simple fact that he was cleared to fight, and now reports are saying that he suffered a rib injury, makes the win for Terrence Crawford even more obvious for excuses on Errol Spence's side. And that's not right. Give the man his credit. Give Terrence Crawford his credit, because before the fight, I had Errol Spence winning. So I'm letting you know that I'm coming from a completely objective perspective based on what I'm seeing. I had Errol Spence winning the fight before they fought. So now that these so-called reports are coming out and being reported by content creators, I'm going to call cap on his injury. I'm going to say, hey, if his rib injury that he suffered during training camp was that severe, he should have never been medically cleared to fight. He should have never been fighting in the first place. And I've been looking up, rib injuries for fights for past boxing matches. And there have been fighters such as Tommy Fury, such as Mike Tyson, such as Kell Brook, who would pull out, pause, a fight from a fight because they suffered a rib injury. Rib injuries are that severe and that's debilitating that you cannot continue to fight. So, if you're suffering a rib injury, whether it be a fractured rib, a bruised rib, whatever the case may be, the fight should have been postponed. Bottom line. I don't care. Even people like I saw that even Floyd Mayweather at one point had a rib injury where he had to have a fight postponed. All right. So that's the thing about it, man. Like, um, if the injury was that severe, like I said, he should have never been cleared to fight. And bottom line, we don't want to hear no damn excuses from what the hell happened, because once you go into that fight, once you go into a fight, all bets are off. No excuses at all. Doesn't matter what kind of severity of your injury is. Once you step into those ropes, there is no excuses. there's no excuses because you the one that decided to go into the ring and fight that night, despite the severity of your injuries. You decided to go ahead and fight. Now people are saying, um, Spence had neurological damage prior to the fight. Now I could believe that. The severity of that, I don't know because he had a couple of car accidents, very severe car accidents, and I even just heard the podcast or the interview with the doctor that called in on one of the content creator shows, and he broke it down to a science about the severity of neurological damage to fighters, such as Muhammad Ali when he fought Larry Holmes, where he suffered Parkinson's disease. He actually entered the ring with Parkinson's disease. He had signs of Parkinson's disease during that fight, right? It doesn't really matter at this point because of the fact that once you step into that ring, all bets are off. No matter what kind of injuries you have, if you're going into that ring knowing you have an injury, that's on you. Point blank and simple. Point blank and simple. And that's exactly the reason why I call Cap on this injury, because specifically this rib injury, because he should have never been medically cleared to fight if he suffered a rib injury where it was that instabilitating for him not to be able to do what he wants to do in that ring, right? Did I see things that were different about Spence in that fight? Yeah, I did, but I'm not going to take anything away from Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford did what he had to do. He made it a one-sided ass whooping, and that's what he did. There's a lot of untold stories about this fight prior to, hopefully it'll be released in a documentary or something like that. There's a lot of it. A lot of people don't know. A lot of people aren't privy to, and I'm pretty sure that Al Heyman knows everything about what happened prior to this fight. And there's got to be some kind of multi-billionaire to offer this guy money to interview, because this guy would never interview. And the secrets that he knows, he'll probably go to the grave unless somebody gives him $1 billion. I don't even know, but somebody got to interview Al Heyman. All right, somebody got to interview this guy. He's a ghost. He knows exactly what happened. Is what I'm trying to say. But nonetheless, man, like I said, Errol Spence. Here's another thing I want to point out also before I end this video is the fact that there's still no fight date. Clearly, Errol Spence was stopped, and it is protocol for the Nevada State Athletic Commission to suspend a boxer once they are knocked out or stopped in the fight. They are suspended for I forget exactly how long, but they're suspended for a significant amount of time before they can actually fight again, right? And I'm pretty sure he is cleared by now. But the fact is that there's still no fight day, and this was prior to Showtime no longer, or being announced, no longer showcasing boxing. So there's still no fight date, and there's also a reason why that Terrence Crawford wants to campaign around 168 and having sparring sessions at 168 right now, because he's looking past this Errol Spence fight. So again, there's a lot of untold stories about this fight that people aren't talking about, and hopefully one day someone like Al Heyman or someone really close to Al Heyman that knows exactly what's going on is able to actually say this information out in public. Who is privy to this information. The people want to know. They want to know exactly what's going on. So anyway, family, those are my thoughts on that. Leave your comments down below about this reported rib injury that Errol Spence suffered prior to his fight with Terrence Crawford. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think it's cap or not? Let me know in the comment section, family. Till next time, signing out. Peace.